Are you a fan of crochet? In today's how to slice, we're going to be checking out some crochet accessories. So let's start. This is a beautiful yarn bowl, and we got over here a ergonomic needle cover. So as you can see, this is a really nice project. Let's see the best configurations to print this model. So let's go. So let's start with the yarn bowl. As you can see, it's a really nice model. First off, let's position the model. If we were to position the model this way, let's just flip it a little. Let me just show you first this orientation. So as you can see, if you lay it flat on the ground, this region glued to the bed table, as you can see, we're gonna need support in this region over here. If we were to flip it around, it would have a really low contact point to the build plate, so we're gonna have to paint a little bit of support. So let's go over here to paint on support, and we're gonna go the brush size set to 6, around 6. Let's just reduce a little bit so we can go around this part right here and paint our support. This way it's gonna look really nice. What you can do is you do not need to paint support right here because you can do the overhang, but I'm just, for safety measures, I'm going to be selecting right here. So you can paint a little. If there is a region that you do not want support, you can select shift and paint. So it's going to erase where you don't want support. So let's go back. Just select paint on support and we're going back. So let's see the best print settings. Over here in layers and perimeters, we're gonna be increasing the layer height a little bit to 0.22 millimeters, just so we can print a little bit faster. And for perimeters, you can be selecting 3, so it's got a really robust model. So let's go down right here because there's a experimental feature that I like a lot for this model. It's called fuzzy skin. This way it adds a little bit of a texture to the outside of a model. And for our yarn bowl over here, if we add fuzzy skin, it's gonna add a little bit of a texture, so it's gonna look like yarn. So let's turn on fuzzy skin for outside walls. Fuzzy skin thickness 0.3 millimeter is fine. Over here we're going to be reducing to 0.3 millimeters as for fuzzy skin point distance, so it's going to look a little bit more like yarn. As for infill, we're going to be increasing to 15% for infill, selecting gyroid fill pattern. We do not need any ironing. Let's go to skirt and brim. As for this model, we do not need any brim because it's got a good contact surface to the bed table. As for support, we do need support. We do not need to auto-generated support because we painted on support. So the style, we're gonna select organic, and you can select 0.2 detachable. It's fine. As for pattern spacing, the default value is fine. You can be adding a little bit of bigger spacing if you want. Top interfacing layers, you can be reducing just to default, just to make sure it's easier to remove. So let's go to speed. As for speed, we do not need to reduce any speed. The standard printing speed is fine, so we can print quicker this model. So as you can see, let's slice and see how it looks. So I just sliced the model, and as you can see, it's gonna take 1 day and 8 hours to print. It's got a really nice fuzzy skin on. It looks really nice. And as you can see, it's added organic support, so it's easier to remove. It's gonna look really nice to print this model. So as for ergonomic needle right here, for your ergonomic needle cover, let's see the best print configurations to print this model. So as you can see, if we take a look under this project right here, we're going to be looking at and taking a look at this model. It's got a really low contact area to the bed table, so we're going to be adding some brim. In the other yarn bowl, we do not need any brim. As for this model, we're going to need some brim. So let's go to the print settings. As for layers and perimeters, we're gonna be reducing the layer height to 0.18 millimeters because as this is a really tiny print part, we're gonna be reducing the layer height so we get a better quality. I would say you can even go down to 0.16 millimeters if you want to get an extra quality. As for the yarn ball, it's assembled right on top of the needle holder. It's really nice to set a really low layer height so we can get an extra quality. As for perimeters, you can leave it at 3. For fuzzy skin, you can be deselecting fuzzy skin right here because you do not need that texture on this ergonomic needle cover. So as for fill density, you can select 15%, it's fine. As for brim width, we're gonna be adding a brim width of 8 millimeters, so it expand the area of contact to the build plate. As for support material, we do not need to generate support material and we don't need to reduce the speed. If you wanna be safe, it's better to be safe than sorry, you can be reducing to 50 millimeters a second. As for this piece that is kind of tall, you can be slowing down so it doesn't fall off on you. But the brim is gonna help a lot in this case. So let's slice and see how it looks. So as you can see, I just sliced the model. It's gonna take 5 hours and 30 minutes to print, and we added a custom brim so the models do not unstick from the bed table. So as you can see, it's gonna turn out really nice. The custom brim, 8 millimeters brim, and it's gonna print perfectly fine. The ball over here and all the parts. So as you can see, both of the prints, the yarn ball and the ergonomic needle cover, it's gonna look really nice, gonna complement a lot, and this is really easy to assemble. So I hope you have found all these tips useful. I'll see you in another how to slice, and happy printing. Bye-bye.
I hope you guys enjoy it. Those slicing videos are an initiative from STL Academy, which is the educational project from STLflix. So if you guys want to learn more about 3D printing, you could check our description and look at STL Academy courses. And don't forget, see you guys at the next slicing.